Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and it can only mean one thing. Oondasta time. This is a world boss which I've not yet had the privilege of killing on the live servers. In actual fact, I didn't have the privilege of killing it on the PTR either. And this definitely brings the term world boss back into its fullest, because Oondasta is one of those bosses where if you've got a full raid of 40 people, that's great. Now just times that number by 3 and you probably have enough people to kill it, because it is immense in every single sense of the word. So much so that Blizzard have realised this encounter in itself is just epic, and have reduced the cooldown on its spawn from approximately 2 to 3 days to around about, from what I could gauge on the servers yesterday, about 3 hours respawn time. Now, my Fraps is just spazzing out for a second as it realises there's about 100 plus people with all their spells and abilities attacking a massive dinosaur that has the ability to do stuff like that. But it does, thankfully, start to sort itself out in a moment. We're going to play a little game throughout the course of this video, and this game is how many times does Az die during this encounter. And believe me, I think you're going to have to need at least 2 hands for this, because it's possibly the craziest, hardest encounter I've ever come across on the World of Warcraft today. And I've done some bonkers stuff, let me tell you that. So there we go, there's death number 2 already. What? We're hardly into the fight. In actual fact, look at the raid group. There's probably a dozen people at best alive. This guy is a monster in every sense of the word, and a pure out and out killer. So what makes Oondasta so damn powerful? Well, first of all, tanks. He's got an ability called Crush, which will inflict 500,000 physical damage on you, and also reduce your armor by 25% for 1 minute. And this ability can stack. So you've got to make sure that you get those taunts off to take it away from people affected by Crush. But if that wasn't enough, what about if he combined it with something called Alpha Male, where Oondasta suddenly becomes immune to all taunt effects, but the tank spec players will have their threat increased by 100%. So fingers crossed the DPS shouldn't be able to pull it off you guys, but whoever has the highest threat as a tank, Oondasta is just going to pummel you until the Alpha Male ability drops. It's horrific. But those are just for tanks. What happens to the rest of the raid? Why are we dropping like absolute flies every 2 seconds? Well, firstly, he has something called Frill Blast, and this is what wiped us out to start with. And it will inflict 800,000 fire damage to all players in a 60-yard hemisphere in front of Oondasta. So really, the tanks have got to, as best they can, and believe me, tanks, I'm not having a go at all. I seriously feel sorry for you. Best they can, try and tank Oondasta facing away from the raid. And by the way, for the people who are wondering why we've pulled it down here, we're just trying to get as close to the graveyard as possible, because we all know there will be multiple deaths. So the quicker we can get back to our bodies, the better. Now, he also has something called Growing Fury, just to add injury to insult. And throughout the course of the fight, Oondasta will increase his damage by 10%, and it will stack. The longer the fight goes on, the more powerful Oondasta becomes, the easier it is for him to cause utter carnage amongst the raid, or the raids, as we do have 3 of them ready to tackle this fight. On top of that, he's got something called Piercing Roar, which will inflict 200,000 physical damage to all players and interrupt any spell casting going on. You saw me get locked out for a few times, but again, to add more injury to insult, it will then lock you out of that spell school for 10 seconds. So healers, if you're trying to get off some heals and then suddenly he does a Piercing Roar, lots of trouble will be had. Now, I've spec'd myself into Affliction at the moment, so when Piercing Roar takes effect, I've got nothing to fight back with. That's why I'm just running away, hopefully getting myself out of harm's way initially anyway, letting it drop off and then coming back into the fight. Now, he has one more ability left to do, and on first glance it seems nice and fluffy, but when you realise what it does on top of its initial hit, you will suddenly think otherwise. And this is something called Spirit Fire Beam, which will inflict 150 fire damage on its target. Nothing wrong with that. Healer's just like, phew, we can handle that, not a problem at all. But there's always a but, isn't there? But it will jump to nearby allies. So healers are like, okay, right, we can get ready for this. Up to 20 of them. Okay, we can get ready for this. No, Oondasta, leave me alone. Look, oh, I'm just giving out your ability. Oh my god! Soulstone, bitch. No! Okay, so Spirit Fire Beam inflicts 150,000 fire damage. Then it jumps to up to 20 nearby players. But each jump will increase the damage by 50%. So suddenly 150k becomes, what, about 225k, which becomes about 340k. Put it this way, on about the 5th jump or so, people are going to start dropping. So that's why you have to spread out. And I'm not even going to get a chance to res before Oondasta drops. So how many times did I die? Was it 4? Was it 5? It was enough. Believe me. Now, when I first saw that, I thought, oh, epic item, shiny pile of whatever it was. I thought, brilliant. Brilliant. I've won myself an item. It looks like a trinket or something. But no, this is the Oondasta version of a fail bag. Oh! So I thought I'd got something out of the deal. I hadn't. And then on my bonus roll with my Mogu coin, I got gold. I repaired before this fight. Now, when I get up on the mount to repair next, I've actually lost money on this encounter. Through the money I got through opening that pile of doo-doo, and then the extra bonus roll of gold, and the repair bill, I think, is around 65 odd gold for me, thank goodness for cloth. I actually ended up losing money on this encounter. Oondasta is punishing, but if you do defeat him, you do have the opportunity to win 522 epics and a chance to get the Cobalt Direhorn mount. So plenty of sexy stuff indeed. So I'm going to bid a hasty retreat because this Isle of Giants has done enough for me today. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on Twitter and like my Facebook. They need your support. I'm not just saying that. Please sign up to them. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.